Hello everybody, PJ back again with another Fallout 76 video. This particular one is from the latest PTS build. So this is the public test server build that's available on PC, sadly not on the consoles. So what I've done here is assembled the new 3 events that are coming to the game. Okay, so we've got 3 different events all been added to the PTS. The first one is Test Your Metal. Now this one has actually been tested in the past on the PTS, but they pulled it because it was too buggy, the rewards weren't working properly, etc. So we got a later refined version of it right now, and well, it seems to be working okay. I've done all of these events a few times, and from what I can gather, they're not bad. Sometimes they're not dropping the rewards correctly still, but overall, much better than they were. So, on this Test Your Metal event, as you can probably see, there's an arena. Waves of robots come out. They're not your normal ones, though. They're sort of Raider armoured, shall we say. You've got Purgatrons, you've got Harvestertrons, and you've got Grimbots, and a few others all mixed in. At the same time as defeating all these lovely robots, you've got to keep the Brotherhood guys alive. So you've got the Rifleman, the Scout, and the Technician. You're sort of wandering around, the player, the people bots, and you've got to sort of keep them alive. If they go down, you've got to revive them, etc. It's not an easy event. It is a level 50 upwards event, and everything, as you can see, is sort of level 75. You get tons of legendaries coming on it, and some of their attacks that they've got pretty devastating. So you're going to need a good, well, probably 3 or 4 decent level players with decent equipment to actually complete this event. With that in mind, I'd just like to point out I do not use legacy weapons or any glitched weapons at all. The weapons I use are always in-game, currently available weapons. So, for example, this is a 2-shot plasma that I'm using at the moment. Normally with, sort of 6 points into every gunner, maybe 9 if I want to step it up a bit. So what you're seeing here is sort of standard energy weapons. You're probably going to get 130, 140 damage out of a 2-shot plasma, depending on your perk cards that you're running, and that's the sort of damage it's doing on them. Obviously, you guys with all your glitched weapons or your legacy weapons, you're going to do a lot more, but I felt the event was pretty well balanced difficulty wise for higher level players. I did think it was pretty good. There was 4 or 5 of us doing this event, and I did see a few people go down and need stim packing back up again. Stealth didn't seem to work too well. Now, whether this is because it's robots and they've got sensors rather than animals that you can't see, I don't know, but there was certainly a character running around stealth and they were not having a good time of it. So if you build his stealth guys, I think you're in for a bit of a hard show here, unless you go high up and hide out the way and shoot down on them maybe, but you certainly won't be bouncing around and stim packing everybody very often. Okay, well, with that in mind, and the fact that there's new rewards to all these events, which is quite nice. Didn't particularly get a new one on this one. Okay, got planned for an extra claw. We will move on to the next one, Eviction Notice. In my opinion, this one is harder. Yeah, you did hear me right. If you thought the first one was a bit chaotic, and believe me, it can get chaotic, this one's nuts. The amount of stuff that comes at you sometimes is unprecedented. There was approximately 3 or 4 of us doing this event, all very high level. I noticed one player had a glitched plasma, an explosive plasma or legacy plasma, something like that, and even with that, it was pretty tricky. I mean, you've got to keep the center rad scrubber. It's basically like a little generator thing in the middle. You've got to keep it repaired. Okay, so it's a bit like, keeping anything repaired in the game. You've got to go up to it and you've got to manually repair it if it breaks in a timer before it's too late and, you failed the event. So you get 30 seconds to repair the scrubber. You have to press and hold on it to actually repair it. You can't just click A. You've got to stand there and hold it. Now, that can be tricky because obviously you've got super mutants with super sledges or sledgehammers, and if they hit you while you're doing that, it normally stops the repair. So you need a clear second or two just to be able to repair the scrubber when it goes down. You also get a lot of mini gunners on this. At the end of this event, I actually picked up all the items that had been dropped on the floor, and there were 7 mini guns. So yeah, you end up weighing an absolute ton. Okay, you're going to get a lot of weapons from this and a lot of stuff to pick up, but obviously it's a weight cost. So Fallout First is very handy with the tent and the scrap kits, etc. It's a nightmare just getting a load of sledgehammers, let alone a load of mini guns. But anyway, the event itself, as you can see, has floaters going around, all different sorts. There's freezing ones, there's fire ones, stuff like that, which don't help you, and it's ideal to stay near this scrubber. Now the power armors I use have the Tesla in, which for those of you that don't know is basically a modification to the torso. See a lot of people with jetpacks on power armor. I tend to go the other route. I go for the Tesla mod, and that electrifies anything that's near you, so it causes damage to anything surrounding you, anything that gets too near to you. And that is why you'll often see me run into a bunch of foes, if you like, to defend a certain thing. It's because the nearer I get to them, I can basically do Tesla damage. The downside is, of course, you go through your stim packs very, very, very quickly. I actually went through an absolute ton of stim packs doing this event. But if you're a high level player, they're pretty easy to sort of get hold of, and you've probably got a few hundred of them lying around. Good event for XP. If you're going to pop lunch boxes and stuff on it, with all these super mutants, you're certainly going to do very, very well out of it. Did feel that this new reward from the event was a bit, well, naff, to be completely honest with you. Doctor's orders. Yeah, I mean, it's a sniper rifle, but it's nothing special. It's still the old 308, hunting rifle souped up to be a sniper rifle. It's unique, so for collectors like myself, you're going to probably put it in your stash box and keep it and never use it, but it's a vampires with limb damage, and you can generate a stealth field. If that was rolled, you would probably scrap it, let's face it, so not good. Moving on to the last one, we have Moonshine Jamboree. Now, this one is quite amusing. The background music is very much a moonshine distillery type thing, and it's basically a case of protect 3 areas from the gulpers and fill up a trough. So it's a sort of formula you've seen before in Fallout, and it gives you a bit of time to start it off, activate the bonfire, etc. So you can wait for more players to turn up. There was roughly, I think there was 3 of us doing this event. We ended up splitting up 1 on each still, and basically it went okay. Not brilliant, but it went okay. Now, the gulpers weren't dropping the venom. I would imagine they were meant to drop the venom. I've never seen them do that, but there's no venom anywhere else that I could find. If anybody else is on the PTS and found an answer to this, please drop it in the comments below, because the game sort of tells you to collect the venom from the gulpers, and I've done this event 3 times and no venom. Although the venom did fill up in the tub, so it must have been working for someone. Also, we have Magic Maya Moonshine to take. Now, yeah, although it looks like Nuka Shine and you think you're going to disappear, no, you're not. This is actually a buff. When you've gone through the few seconds of it being a bit weird and foggy, there is actually a buff going on here. So buff against gulpers, just gulpers, which is a bit of a weird thing, really. I mean, you'd expect a buff for the whole event in some way, but no, this is Maya Magic Moonshine Gulper Smacker damage. I had to say that one. Yeah, Gulper Smacker damage. So it basically puts a 50% buff on, and I'm not actually sure it works, because I didn't notice myself killing the gulpers any faster than I normally would. It seemed a bit of an odd one. I mean, you can see gulpers going down, but I wouldn't normally kill them at that sort of speed, so maybe this event needs a bit more bug fixing in that regard. Keeping control of these areas when there's only 3 of you was pretty difficult. It got really busy. What you're looking at here is the first wave. There's 3 waves of this stuff, so when you get to the 3rd wave, like now, you can see the meat piles on the floor. It's absolutely frantic. So keeps you very busy, uses a lot of ammo, a lot of stim packs if you're the type of person to run around in power armor like I am, but it is good fun. I could see this being, a really good event with a lot of people there. Once we get a lot of players in, get it on the consoles, which I believe is around summertime for these events coming to console. Maybe it'll get delayed a bit, who knows. Somewhere between summer and October, I would imagine, is when they'll actually appear on the consoles, which will be a great thing to have some new events in the game. The gulpers themselves are actually mixed, so you get volatile, you get acidic, etc. You never quite know what's going to blow up, because half the time you're not clocking the descriptions on them. So you might be stood next to one and end up in a pile of acid, which is definitely not ideal. You can see one over there that I'm shooting at, acid pouring out of it. You've got to stay out of the way of that stuff. It eats through even the power armors. So yeah, I was using an excavator power armor on this event, and in all honesty, I would have been much better off using something a lot stronger. Now, excavator's sort of the most used power armor in the game, according to a survey I saw, but it's also, guys, it's pretty weak. Yeah, it's meant to be a JCB, it's meant to be a digger. It's not really meant for, this type of stuff. So if you can, use a combat power armor for this event if you're a power armor build. If you're not a power armor build, doesn't matter. Rewards. Yes, there are some limited time rewards with this. You do get treasury notes for all these events. And you also get, well, a Gulper Smacker. Now, a Gulper Smacker is a new weapon, melee weapon, and you get mods to it, such as this sharp mod to it. The actual Gulper Smacker itself, it's a bit like a board, I guess. It's got a chain around it, this particular one. It's a chain-wrapped version of it. I haven't got any melee perk cards on. But guys, that's it. That's these events. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.